So I've decided to do a bit of a de-expedition to the Isle of Man, and I'm currently in the queue waiting for to board the ferry at Heysham, and I'm absolutely busting for a pee. Yeah, I'm going to take a bit of a leaf out of Carl's book. I'm doing a weekend on a campsite and in a hut, like a shepherd's hut type of thing, and I'm going to do a bit of cooking and a bit of radio. It's 2D0 KCI. So yeah, the ferry crossing's about 4 hours, I think. So it's quite a slow ferry because it's not very far. It's only about, it's probably about 50 miles from here. Nah, mind you, it's doing just a bit over 10 knots. So a couple of things. I knew I'd forget something. I was like double checking everything, and I didn't bring my sleeping bag. I've actually got a little, I did bring a little sleeping bag, but it's like a one season, it's probably half a season. It's really thin, and it depends how good the heating is in the hut. So equipment I've brought with me: IC705, the PA500 amplifier. I've got an end-fed Magitenor as a backup in case it's really windy, so I can just string a wire up. I've got my buddy pole, which isn't ideal because it's too low to the ground to be effective, but I'll give it a go. And I've also got the main antenna, which is the DX Commander Expedition, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm on the west coast of the Isle of Man, so straight out over the sea, get some nice good takeoff, hopefully skip over Ireland. Well, hopefully get some Irish contacts would be nice, but also skip over Ireland on like 15 meters and into the States, hopefully. And obviously try and get some UK stations on 40 meters.
In places, I just wouldn't go down that route, you see.
Listening to Callum's live stream while I'm in the ferry queue.
You can get a four-way switch remote. Yeah, you can have a couple of beverages, US and I don't know, VK or.
Ooh, a couple of beverages sounds nice.
One east, something like that.
Good God, it's quite a... I mean, there are bigger boats, but this is, I've not been on one this big for a while. That's a beamy bugger. .47 out at sea today, which will be a bit rolly, but not a lot for a boat like this. Still, if you're vulnerable to puking up, I think the toilets might be busy. We've arrived at the Isle of Man. It's just before 6 o'clock. There's probably a load of noise outside because of the engineering space vents. It's quite a pleasant crossing. It's 4.7. The boat was rolling everywhere. There were people puking, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was dead relaxing. I could have nodded off, but I spent the entire trip reading the full study manual. So I understand it all. It's remembering certain things. That's what I'm coming unstuck with. But anyway, we'll get there. Well, I've reached the place. It's very pleasant, and they've left the heating on for me. I've got the QTH power supply, switch mode power supply, with a Victron charge controller. I'll explain this in a second. I've got my lithium iron phosphate battery, the PA500 amp, the power meter and the IC705 and the laptop. Now, what I thought I could do was have the output of the power supply going into the PV input, so the solar cell input for the charge controller. And if you look on the Victron app, it's seeing it's getting 16.4 volts from the solar cells, but there's no current. I don't know how to get it to pull current. So yeah, so it's not charging the battery, so I'm going to have a limited battery life. However, I do have a trickle charger with me, but obviously that's a trickle charger, and I can't have everything plugged in while the battery's on charge. Oh, and the other good news is that whilst there was advertised that there's internet Wi-Fi available here, it's so weak my laptop won't connect to it. So it's a bit of a disaster from a logging point of view. And at 4p a megabyte tethered to my phone, well, I might get away with Grid Tracker uploading logs for FT8, but yeah. I'm certainly not going to be sat watching YouTube videos, that's for sure. Anyway, right, it's time for me to stop messing with the radio and cook some dinner, because I'm really hungry and it's going to take about an hour and a half to make it. I've just had to YouTube to figure out how to work an induction hob. They're not straightforward. So I'm doing a bit of cooking along with the radio. I've not done any radio yet. I've not got an antenna up, but I'm not turning this into a cooking channel either, but this is a recipe from Latif's Inspired. So if you're into curries and stuff, British Indian cuisine, go and check his channel out. It's this is going to be a lamb Rogan Josh. I bought a pre-mix. I put a mix together of the spices before I left. Chopped up a leg of lamb. Right, this is bad news. It's not actually an induction hob, it's a one of the red ring jobs, which are absolutely crap. You don't get any heat out of them, you can't cook meat in them properly. It's turned into a bit of a disaster. This is an example, right, that's on full highest heat, number 9. No, they're terrible. Why would anyone have one of these for cooking? They're about, and then the heat doesn't come on, it switches itself off because it might be getting too warm. Oh, they're good for students to make super noodles, but that's pretty much it. Fortunately, I bought my Jetboil with me with the pan adapter. So yeah, we can save the day here, I think. Yes. See, that's what cooking sounds like. Stupid hob. The dramas on a DXpedition. I'm thinking of putting an antenna up. I want to have a bit of a play. The PA500's got a tuner built in. So, although I'm definitely putting the DXC up tomorrow because it's just the best in my armoury, I think I might put up an end-fed once this is into its simmering for an hour mode. Right, here's this evening's jury rig. We've got the Rapide pole with, I can't remember, 3 or 4 or 5 sections out. Let's go into the Magitenna, which is held in with a tent peg. So this is going to try and tune 40. Look at the SWR. Yay. We're certainly not going to try and run it like that. I don't know what to do. Oh, look, it tuned and we've still got a 30 to 1 SW. Stop bloody transmitting. Try 20 metres and see if it'll tune on that. Oh, 20 is a little bit better. Give it some more power. But with a SWR that high, it's obviously not workable. Let's try 10. See what 10's like. That's reasonable. Reasonable. Unfortunately, 10's a bit dead at this time of day. After half an hour of constant stirring on the gas, I finally got rid of most of the water. So next step, let's add some spices. It's still a bit wet for that, but I'm just hungry now. 11:15. Yeah, nearly there. Redeemed. The gas redeemed it. And after all that, we've finally got a lamb Rogan Josh, which isn't looking massively appetizing, to be honest, but smells alright. So yeah, that's the that's the cooking bit out of the way. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get some radio done. I think a cat has smelt my food. Yes, there's a kitty. This is all turning out to be a bit of a disaster. Wow. The cabin's very nice. So I woke up about 6:30 this morning. It's currently 8:30. It was pointless filming in the dark, but it's very windy. There's a bit of a lull at the minute, but when the gusts come, and I checked the forecast, and it's gusting up to 51 miles an hour, which is, that's too much to, it's too much for the vertical, really. Yeah, so the vertical's not happening. The Magitenna end fed is just not working at all. The tuner won't tune it, and it's not resonant on any bands, so I can't plug it directly into the radio because it's IC705, which doesn't have a built-in tuner. I nearly bought the 991A, and then I thought, no, I mean, I've got 50 watts with the PA500, so why carry the extra weight, you know, because it's difficult in a car, isn't it? So my only remaining option to try and get on the air is I've got the mini buddy pole with me, so I'll set that up on 15 meters and see if I get out. Yeah, the weather outside is pretty grim. Hooray! Right, so using the mini buddy pole, I've managed to get on 12 meters. I'm using the amp about 25 watts out, I think, roughly. I've not got it going through the power meter. Yeah, and I've made a few contacts on 12 already. So after messing around trying to get the logbook set up, so just in the last few minutes really, I've got Romania, Ukraine, Asiatic Russia, Israel, Finland, hello Jan, and Croatia. So that's just messy. It's the first time I've used 12, I believe, or at least for a long time, because my other antennas, I don't have them set up for 12. So yeah, I've finally made 2D0 KCI contacts. So if anything, if it all goes downhill from here, at least I've made a couple of QSOs. So, but of course I'm going to try more. So I think I'm going to spend a little bit more time on 12, maybe see if I can do some SSB on 12 before I change the antenna over to 15 meters. tend to get a bit of a better throw on 15. The only problem is the antenna's very low, so I don't think the DX is going to be great. Mind you, Israel on 12 meters isn't too shabby, is it? So, but yeah, much better that things are working now. I still can't figure out why that Magitenna didn't work. Perhaps the tuner in the amp just can't bend it enough. I know the FTDX10 and the 991A can. Trouble is, whenever I've used it, I get RF back in the shack. It drops out USB connections for fun. But I thought it's there as an emergency antenna. But it's not. Anyway, the mini body pole's working. The weather's looking better tomorrow. It's not 51 mile an hour gusts, so hopefully we'll get the DX Commander up tomorrow for a day's operating. I don't have constant problems with kit. So this is a breakdown pole that came with a mini body pole, and they've got little, it's a good idea, they've got little notches in them so it won't rotate. But the bungee's gone, I've only used it like twice and the bungee's gone knackered, so as soon as I try and erect it, it all falls to bits. Ham gear's just shit. So there's the black one. Right, so I've done them both. That should be tuned for 15 meters now. Right, well 15, I got it set up for 15 obviously, as you've just seen. Felt a bit grotty, so I thought I'm going to have a quick shower. That was about 7 minutes, got out and the band's bloody closed. yeah, even FT8's faded out. So I'm going to try and get the mini body pole on 40 meters. I've never managed to do it before, but this time I've got the Nano VNA, so at least I'm not doing it trial and error, which gets a bit frustrating. So if I can get it on 40, it'll be very high Q because it's very loaded on 40, but it's at least I can get a few more QSOs in. I don't want to be shutting down the radio activity at not even 4 o'clock, you know. But tomorrow the DXE's going up and then it'll be game changing. That's when I'm going to stack up the QSOs. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. I've got the body pole for the first time since I've had it to tune to 40 meters. It's right at the bottom of the band. In the CW area, I was about 1.4 to 1. In FT8, it's running at 2 to 1 basically. It's 2 to 1. It shifts a little bit in the wind. But I thought, I'm only on 10 watts, so 2 to 1, that's fine. So I'm doing a little bit of FT8 on 40 meters. But I'm gonna try. I've got the Nano VNA, so it'll help. I'm gonna shorten it a little bit, just a tiny bit, and see if I can get the tune a bit further up the band into the SSB range. It'd be nice to make at least one SSB contact after coming all this way. So yes, that's 3 bands worked in a compromised situation. See, the thing is with the body pole, it is a compromised antenna, so I can't Switzerland. It's a compromise antenna. It's small. It's very small, and it's got loading coils on it, so it's really high Q. So you, once you get up to 10 meters, it covers a lot of the band. You know, and the thing will do 2 meters to 40. I didn't think it'd do 40, but since I've got it there now, it will do 40. And it's tiny. It packs up into nothing. It's an option, right? If you've got an idea of a band that you want to work, I think it's a cracking antenna for portable. It's just, it is a bit of a pain in the backside to change bands though, especially when the weather's awful. And sorry, especially when the weather's awful and you've got to go outside to mess around with it. But and it's really expensive, and it should come as a full kit. Like, here's what you pay, and here's you get everything, but you don't. It's like, I can't stand that business model. So you buy the antenna, yeah, and then you get the antenna, and no one tells you that it doesn't actually come with any sort of pole to put it on. So then you've got to go and buy that, which I think that was an extra 80 quid or something. It was expensive, and it's failed on me. Well, it can be fixed, but still. So yeah, mixed feelings with a buddy pole. I wouldn't dissuade anyone from getting one. I still, and they're really well made. They've got this really well engineered, but it's a niche thing. You need to know what you're getting into before you buy one. Well, that's the buddy pole, mini buddy pole, packed away. I tell you what, in fairness to the thing, even though it's a bit fiddly to use, that does from the pole and the antenna itself, it'll get you on 2 meters to 40 meters. In a package that size, it's tiny. So if you like bike packing or backpacking, yeah, it is a good antenna, and as I said, it's really well made as well. But next up is my favourite, the Expedition. So I'm going to set that up next. Right, just got to do the radials and then plug the coax in and we're good. Radials. The DX Commander's up. I've just got on 40 meters in the daytime. I've just got a -10 dB to Finland. Cheers, Jan. I've got Raymond in Scotland. What was that? -4, I think. I've lost it now. It's very busy. I've QSY'd to 17 meters. But yeah, with the DX Commander up, the difference is just it's worlds apart. It's doing so much better, and I'm liking having the 2D0. It's sort of creating every band I try. As soon as I call CQ, there's a pile up. It's still rather windy outside. Trying to get GB100 BBC special event station. And trying not to forget my new call sign.
Oh, my apologies, you're 5 and 9 plus 10, over. Lovely, thank you for that nice report. You're about a 15 over there, Matt. So this is GB100 BBC 2E0RR. So this is Matt. Bye-bye.
Many thanks, 73 GB100 BBC QRZ.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
3 in there, at Mike 3 station over.
Ah, bit of a pile up. I think this might take some effort.
Yes, okay, Glenn, when you've got...
Or some, not some effort, some perseverance. It's not effort pressing a button, is it?
Yeah, thanks for the contact there, Glenn. 73, this is GB100 BBC QRZ.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
So X-ray Tango Kilo, good afternoon, Phil. I won't hold it with you, you already work the station tonight. Again soon, this is GB100 BBC QRZ.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
7, there's a Mexico 7 station, please, over.
Fun, fun, fun.
GB100 BBC, Mike 7, November Zulu Lima. Cheers.
Many thanks, this is GB100 BBC QRZ.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
Mike 3 Delta Alpha Foxtrot. Mike 3 Delta Alpha Foxtrot. Good.
In fairness, he's going for all the M3s and the M7s, which is pretty cool.
BBC on time, but thanks for the contact. 73 M3 DAF GB100 BBC. Yeah, 7 many thanks. QRZ GB100 BBC to get tongue-tied over.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
Station Bravo Hotel over. Roger, Roger, very good afternoon. This is
Oh dear, oh dear.
Tango Mike 4 miles. Two Echo Zero. Tango Mike 2 Echo Zero. Tango Mike 4 miles. Calling and standing by.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
Okay, there's a station Delta Zero Stroke Charlie India. Please try again.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India. Kilowatt Canada, Italy.
Okay, so I think I've got 2 Delta Zero. I do apologise about this. I've got the wrong QRS from against please try again, the 2 Delta Zero station.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India. Canada, Kilowatt Canada, Italy.
Okay, 2 Delta Zero Kilo India. 2 Echo Zero Tango Mike Stroke Mobile returning. Good afternoon to you, my friend. I'm afraid with the heavy QRM, you are a 3 and 9, 5 and 9 when allowed.
Roger, Roger, you're a 5-7, 57, 5-7.
Problem at all, Nathan. 2 Echo Zero Tango Mike Stroke Mobile returning. My name is Jim. Juliet India Mike Jim. And my location is approximately 20 miles from the city of Hull. The city of Hull. Hotel Uniform Lima Lima. And I am static mobile overlooking the North Sea. I'm right on the cliff edge here in a small village called Dixie, Nathan. When allowed, you're coming through at 5 and 9, but there was no QRM when you did your last over, so you came through, no problems at all. 2 Delta Zero, Kilo Charlie India, 2 Echo Zero, Tango Mike Stroke Mobile.
All copied, Jim, all copied. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just south of the town of Peel on the Isle of Man. I don't know what that sounded like on the camera, but hi, Jim.
QRZ GB100 BBC.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
Yankee Mike Juliet, I heard. Yankee Mike Juliet.
I don't think I'm going to get this one today. This is funny. So I'm still on 5 watts, some proper genuine QRP, and I just got W1RST, and he gave me -3 dB. So with 5 watts I've gone from the Isle of Man to the east coast of the United States, and he's still hearing me at -3 decibels, which is wow. Yeah, definitely improve the radio outlook having that antenna up.
G1 PPH.
2 Delta Zero Kilo Charlie India. Yeah, it's going to be a struggle on 10 watts, I'm afraid. I wish I had the full 50 available, but unfortunately the amp's down.
Like 5 and 7, fully readable now.
Oh, fantastic. That's this is good news. I've got 3.5 watts running into the amplifier, so yeah, I'm happy it's working. Over.
And it's gone. Oh, all sorts of noises on the band just then. 2 Delta 0 KCI G1PTH. Okay, yeah, that's a much better signal that is now.
2 Delta 0 Kilo Charlie India.
Zulu Oscar. Yeah, Charlie Zulu Oscar. Charlie Zulu Oscar.
This
Would
just...
you like to go again with the full call, over?
Oh, I'm struggling with this GB100. So they've changed location. That's quite a nice story, actually. It was this chap Dave. It was his son Matt who was running the previous location of GB100 BBC, and he's a RF engineer at the transmitting site. So he had a lunch break and decided to run the station. And now his dad's in Ludlow, I believe, and he's taken over. So it's pretty cool, isn't it? What's not cool is I can't bloody get into it. My visitor's back. Been every night. Somewhat cringe to take a picture of your dinner, but yeah, not a bad meal for a compromised kitchen. How'd you get cats out? It sneaked under the door. Oi, come on, go. Go. You're not allowed here. Come on. Out. Go. Out. Because if I open it, you're working in a team, aren't you?